All right, so let's look at how to divide decimals. And dividing decimals we actually did in our FDP unit, and it was part of something that we had to do when converting our fractions and decimals and percents. And so I kind of had to teach it to you, but all of the ones that we did in FDP unit, what we should already know how to do is dividing when my divisor has a decimal in it. So I guess it's probably important to let's define our pieces. So I have a divisor, that's the number, that the whole amount that I have, what I'm dividing up. I have my dividend, that's my groups that I'm making, right? So I'm sharing that into that many groups evenly, or as evenly as I can. And so I have my divisor, my dividend, and then of course my quotient, or my answer to my division problem. So it's important that we understand those terms, and we know those terms: divisor, dividend, and quotient. All right. So with that, again, all the ones that we've done so far that had a decimal had the decimal in the divisor. I have not yet, or sorry, in the dividend. I have not yet done one with a divisor in a decimal in the divisor. So here we go. 2 6/10 divided by 4. So what I told you before is we just find our decimal, we throw it on the roof, and we forget about it. So throw it on the roof and forget about it. All right, and then we just divide, standard algorithm, just like normal. How many 4s are in 2? 0. How many 4s are in 26? That'd be 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 26 minus 24 gives me 2. And because this is a decimal, I can now add a 0 here. Now this is still 2 6 dimes, which is 60 cents, right? So I didn't change the value by adding that 0. So I'm allowed to do that because of that decimal. All right, so add my 0, bring it down. So this now becomes 20. How many 4s are in 20? And that's 5. 5 times 4 is 20. And I am now done. So 65 hundredths is my answer. So again, nothing new, but let's look here. So here I have another decimal in my dividend. So I'm going to throw it on the roof and forget about it. How many 6s are in 0? 0. How many 6s are in 9? 1. 1 times 6 is 6. Difference of 3. I can add a 0, bring it down. How many 6s are in 30? 5. 5 times 6 is 30. And I'm good to go. Let's do one more. And so here I have 14 85 hundredths divided by 5. Take my decimal, throw it on the roof, and forget about it. And how many 5s are in 1? 0. How many 5s are in 14? 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Gives me a difference of 4. How many 5s are in 48? So give me 9. 9 times 5 is 45. Bring down my 5. How many 5s are in 35? That's 7. 7 times 5 is 35. And there's my answer, 2 97 hundredths. So far, nothing new. We've been doing this, not a big deal. Where it turns into something new, something I haven't yet experienced, is I have this decimal out here in my divisor. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that you can divide with a decimal in a divisor. It's not very fun. I don't recommend it. So I like to live a stress-free life. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that not have a decimal in my divisor, and then I already know how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I need to move my decimal to the right. Now what I'm actually doing is I'm multiplying this by 10, and when I multiply it by 10, that allows me to move my decimal, or it shifts the number over in my place value. And so by doing that, I need to do the same thing to my dividend. So also multiply my dividend by 10. That allows the numbers to shift over in place value. And so now I have my decimal, just throw it on the roof and forget about it. And so again, I'm going to get rid of that leading 0 because there's no reason for it. Just like in multiplying, I don't need to do it here either. And so now I just have 2 divided into 62, or 62 divided by 2. It's just whole number division. So I'm not going to teach you how to divide like this because we don't have to. We can avoid it, and so it just makes it way easier. How many 2s are in 6? That gives me 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Bring down my 2. How many 2's are in 2? 1. And there is my answer. Much easier. Alright, let's look at a couple more. So here I have 3 and 32 hundredths divided by 16 hundredths. Again, I don't want that 0, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I don't want a decimal in my divisor, so I'm going to multiply by 100 or move my decimal twice to the right. Move my decimal twice to the right, throw it on the roof, and forget about it. And now we're good to go. So now I have a whole number out here. And so how many 16s are in 3? 0. How many 16s are in 33? 2. 2 times 16 is 32. That leaves me with 1. When I subtract, bring down my 2. How many 16s are in 12? None. So then I need to add a 0, bring it down. How many 16s are in 120? It's going to be 7. So 7 times 16 is 112. Find the difference. That gives me 8. And so now I need to add another 0. Bring that down. How many 16s are in 80? And so that's going to be 5. 5 times 16 is 80. And so now I have my answer, which is 20 and 75 hundredths. Let's look at 1 or 2 more. Let me see what we have. Yeah, let's look at number 15. That looks fun. So here I have a couple of leading zeros. I'm going to get rid of those just because I don't need them. And here I go. I need to make that a whole number, move my decimal twice to the right, throw it on the roof, and forget about it. And so now, let's take a look here. How many 9's are in 1? 0. How many 9's are in 19? 2. 2 times 9 is 18. Difference of 1. Bring down my 9. How many 9's are in 19? 2. 2 times 9 is 18. Difference of 1. Add a 0, bring it down. How many 9's are in 10? 1. 1 times 9 is 9. Difference of 1. And what I see here is now if I add a 0, bring it down, I have a 10 again. And so that's just going to be 1 repeating. So now I have 22 and 1 repeating for my decimal. And just for fun, let's go ahead and do number 14, and then we'll end the video here. So hopefully, I think decimal division is way easier than decimal multiplication. I think they're both pretty easy, but this one, since we've been doing it, just makes it that much easier. So let's take a look. I need to get rid of my decimal that is in my divisor. Let's move it once. Move that one once. So really, again, multiplying by 10. But let's just, we're moving it. How many... Oh, got to put it on the roof and forget about it. All right, so how many 32's are in 5? 0. How many 32's are in 56? 1. Gives me a difference of 24. Bring down my 8. And so now I need to know how many 32's are in 248. And looks like 7, I think. So 7 times 2, 14. 7 times 3 is 21, 22. Yeah, that looks like that'll work. That gives me 4, 2. I need to bring a 0. So now how many 32's are in 240? That gives me another 7, so that's 224. Find the difference. 240 minus 224, 16. Make that smaller so I don't run out of room. Add a 0, bring it down. How many 32's are in 160? And it looks like probably 5. So 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus the 1 is 16. And yep, sure enough. So then now I have my answer of 1 and 775 thousandths. Hopefully this helps. Again, if not, as always, you feel free to ask me in class. be glad to help you out. But yeah, it's not really that new. And so there you go. That is decimal division.